Welcome to July. We have a supply-constrained market right now, and yes, demand is less than the peak of the pandemic frenzy. Supply of inventory has been falling. 2020-2021, the housing demand broke out. Millennials were driving the home purchases, and it wasn't the investors or anything crazy in the exotic mortgage structures, right? We don't have that anymore. So the demand went through the roof in the pre-cycle highs before COVID. Inventory broke all-time lows, and we got into a very, very bad spot on the inventory level in Bay Area and at a national level. And unlike the 2002, 2005, and 2005-2008 boom and bust, which happened at a national level, we never had sales or credit explode. We simply had too many people chase too few homes. Well, 2020-2021, we had pretty much 30% price growth at a national level per Logan Mothashimi at Housing Wire. January, February, March of 2022, inventory got so low, same for Bay Area, same at a national level, it got so low we had so many multiple bids. 30 offers was not uncommon in Bay Area. We needed rates to go higher to avoid another 20% price appreciation. It took until March 2022 for that to happen. And then the entire economic landscape changed as the Fed pivoted to a more aggressive stance, the Russian invasion drove commodity prices up, and then chaos happened with mortgage rates. We haven't dealt with chaotic mortgage rates. The previous expansion was very calm. We went from 3.5% to 5% interest rates and stayed in that range for a decade. As soon as mortgage rates got to 6.25% in 2022, new listings data started to collapse on a year-over-year basis. This is per Aptos research, who monitors every home sold in US on a weekly basis. So that laid the groundwork for what we're dealing with today in 2023. We're not seeing inventory growth in any meaningful fashion. Homeowners, as always, are in a very, very good spot, financial spot. They were in a good spot before COVID and got into an even better one during the pandemic with appreciation in values. Home sellers don't sell as much, so if you have mortgage demand pick up and inventory levels fall, sellers will be okay. It's only a job loss recession that could create stress to sell. I'll say it again. It's only a job loss recession that could create stress to sell and to create more inventory. I actually think it's strange for everyone to see the biggest home price collapse at a national level, which we saw in the summer of 2022, and I don't think we'll ever see it again. I think it's strange for everyone to see that happen over a course of just 1 year and not even get inventory levels to anything that we saw from 2005 to 2008. I think that has shocked people. But if you understand credit channels and inventory channels during this time, in 2022, the majority of people were employed. Unlike the 2005-2008 period when unemployment rate was falling, but inventory started to skyrocket. We actually hit an all-time inventory peak at a US level in 2007, before the job loss recession in 2008. Much different dynamics than now, but credit and inventory cycles matter. In the fall of 2022, it was chaos. We went from 6.25% interest rates on home loans to 5%. And some people felt more comfortable buying and selling. But then in a very short period of time, we went from 5% interest rates to 7.5% mortgage rates. Basically, and people said, I don't want to touch it. I don't want to touch this market. Exactly at that time, we had our annual seasonal inventory decline. What was different is in fall of 2022, that decline was more than seasonal. It was negative. And that's a material change in the dynamics of housing. Since then, as rates fell, demand stabilized, and we just have to think of our current market as low sales, low inventory until something flips the switch. Why we have no listings, the psychology of it? Okay. Well, I don't fundamentally believe in mortgage rate lockdown concept, and here's why. Back in 2018, mortgage rates got to 5%, and people said, well, people are locked in with their low mortgage rates. When mortgage rates start to fall, active listings will grow because a bunch of people will come in and start selling their homes. If you look at after 2010, with normal 30-year fixed loans and people staying in their homes longer and longer than normal, right? The data has been growing year over year. People are remembering what happened from 2000 to 2005, where we had booming national home sales and we had total active listings grow every year. So people naturally think that's still the case. The credit channels back in 2000, 2005 facilitated the demand and listing of homes. Now, that's not the case. I believe people stay in their homes longer, and when rates fell in 2021, they were 3% or so. New listings data was near all-time lows. In 2022, there was no material difference in new listings either. We're so in love with our homes now. We have TV shows telling us how to improve them and remodel them and make them better. You don't just pick up your family and move anymore because you're afraid you'll get a margin call on your house, in a sense. People just don't do that anymore. They used to. And even today, I hear people say, if rates fall to 4%, everyone will rush to buy and inventory will flood the market. But that's never been the case in the data, according to Aptos research. Who's been buying? Well, as mortgage rates rise, millennials get hit harder. In 2020, millennials overtook baby boomers as the top demographic in home purchases. In 2022, baby boomers surpassed millennials in home purchases because they don't tend to finance their homes as much, according to Aptos research. So yes, absolutely. In 2022, the housing demand has gone down tremendously. Baby boomers were happy with those pesky kids gone, in a sense, so they can bid comfortably with their seller concessions, and life was great for them. For the millennials, it's tough. So you're asking me about the forecast. 2025, I don't even want to touch. And let's just assume the housing breaks out and inventory level gets worse from where we are right now in the summer of 2023. We need to see how much damage would be done price-wise to see where we might go in 2025. So keeping that off the books for now until 2024 ends. To have that much price growth in such a short period of time, the material damage that can do to demand, like I said, we don't have exotic mortgage rates anymore. Buyers have to qualify, and with the current interest rates, we need to make sure prices don't get out of hand during this period of ridiculously low inventory. Now, in Bay Area, we've always had fragmentation between different regions, different counties, but right now the biggest fragmentation is coming from different purchase price points. If something is a luxury listing, that is typically classified as the top 10% in sales price in any given area. Whatever that price point is in a specific location, that we would call luxury. So that kind of a market is moving quite slowly. It is not uncommon for a home to take a month and a half to get sold. You go a little bit down in price point to a move-up buyer type of a scenario where somebody has been owning a home and they just need a bigger, better home or in different location, whatnot. That market, it takes about 3 weeks to move inventory. That time you might get just one offer if the home is priced correctly. We do see price drops in certain areas. It's more by expectation in those locations, but that market definitely is moving quite slowly. And there's not a lot of financing that's being done by buyers in that market. That first time buyer market, we're seeing a lot of pressure on prices, but buyers are not unreasonable. There's definitely a cap, and we can see the pinch on their end when looking at the interest rate environment, and there's only so far that they'll go. They're just not comfortable. And a lot of them still want to keep more money in the bank in the savings account versus put it down towards a down payment, just as a cushion more than anything else. So demand definitely outstrips supply at the first time buyer level. There is a limit to how far the buyer will go price-wise, but I do think a lot of people have been out on vacation during the summer. We've got the heat waves, so on the listing side, what I'm advising my sellers is to wait until mid-September. Let people come back to Bay Area from vacation, settle into the schools. A lot of first-time buyers care about schools. Let the dust settle, and I think what we'll see in the September market on the list side is what we typically see in the spring market when there's a bump in inventory. A lot of buyers are also going to be back in town with their families, and we'll see the dynamic, like a lot of activity. And it will probably quiet down during the holidays and pick back up early next year. So definitely interesting times. I'm watching it every day.